Hello, good day. Thank you for joining me today for this lovely little drawing session. My name is Dennis. If this is your first time here, this is where I generally make art and things and look to share it with you all. This is going to be a freestyle drawing with my favorite pen, the Pentel Pocket Brush, and I don't really have anything planned for this today. We're just opening the book, continuing where we left off. The last drawing was the drawing random things in my room video, as you can see, and there's a little bit of bleed through into this page of the book, but I don't mind it. We're gonna just jump right into it without any consideration for what the circumstances of the day are. Just that it's light enough in this room to draw. Going in with some general kind of lines, but some that might allude to parts of the body or perhaps parts of a flower. Things that you might see in nature or might see in the day-to-day, but today you're gonna see it in the sketchbook. I don't have any reference and I don't have any kind of preconceived notion of what this is gonna be either. Although part of me feels like I just drew a little vase with maybe like a decanter style object, but I don't know for sure. I'm kind of forgetting already what I was doing in that moment. This is kind of looking like a guy, so we're gonna put a hat on him, some sort of fancy little bucket hat looking thing, and some big arches, big marks. Yeah, I hope everything's going well for you. It's been quite crazy weather the past few days, the past week. Over on the East Coast here in the US, it's been snow for a couple of days, and funny that the last video I made was watercoloring in the snow, and then just a couple days later it started to snow kind of non-stop, but it's starting to melt now, although I think snow is again on the forecast for this weekend, at least in this area. It's always scary to have to, if you have to travel to go into areas that might not necessarily be fully treated, fully salted, because I don't know, the biggest threat in this area is generally the black ice, since you might have the snow melt during the day and then freeze again during the night, and that's, I feel like, the most kind of worrisome thing. So I think it's good to stay home if you can in these kind of conditions, at least depending on the timing. I hope everything's going a little better wherever you might be watching this from. Maybe if you're inside, just cozy up with some hot cocoa, a cup of tea, something like that. Or who knows where you're watching from. Maybe you're in a more temperate climate and you might need to cool down. You might need some ice water or cool Coke, who knows. Whatever you're into. Hope you can enjoy it like I'm able to just enjoy having a couple open pages and pen in my hand. No pressure, just flow of ideas, flow of ink, a flow of vibes that I hope are able to escape the page and transfer a little bit of the positive energies over to you. Yeah. Nothing too crazy going on for this drawing. Definitely some figure kind of people, some abstract peoples I feel going on here, but you know, who's to say that they're any kind of there's no identifiers, I guess. I'm not doing like a political cartoon or something like that with any kind of connotations, but at the same time I'm exploring any of those kind of ideas if they come up in the moment. But you know, I feel like that's not necessarily important to this kind of viewing experience. It's just sort of like, oh wow, I was thinking about how the weather was during this line, or I was thinking about what I'm gonna cook today. Like I've got a whole bunch of chicken marinating. I wonder what lines I was drawing while I was thinking about that chicken that's marinating in some soy sauce, and how it's breaking down over time and tenderizing while I'm drawing this thing. Because while I am drawing, there's still things, you know, the world is still happening around me. And how much of that do I put into the drawing? It's really hard to tell, because I feel like it becomes sort of how conscious is the drawing? Am I focusing 100% on the drawing, or am I letting the drawing sort of be itself and then I'm focusing on something else? These are the things that kind of make each drawing different. It's both what's going on the page and what's going on off of the page. If there's any kind of stress in life, or if I'm in a bad mood, it's gonna come out with different line work, different shapes, different emphasis in different areas. I just can't imagine drawing this exact thing if I were upset. I'm at least in this space, I'm feeling quite chill and relaxed. That's to say, not every drawing has to be chill, has to be relaxed. It's good to get the energy out sometimes. It's good to even get some anger on the page sometimes if it feels right. But I wouldn't want to have to rely on emotions in order to draw. I would rather create art just out of the organic want or need to create something. And I feel like there's always some sort of energy in me that needs to be put onto a page or edited into a video. In this case, especially with how real of a conversation we're able to have about this artwork and mechanisms of creation. As I feel like everybody is motivated a little differently for making things, but at the same time there's like a root human not so much an instinct, but a desire to create. And I feel like it's a common thing for people to feel either maybe not necessarily proud, but at least extra appreciative of the things that they make themselves. Like, you could go and purchase a painting for your walls, or you could paint it yourself and post something of your own work, and in terms of like what I'm doing here. But I feel like on a tech kind of analogy, it would be like if you were to build your own PC rather than to pre-buy one from some company that has decided that this is the arrangement that is required. I think same thing even if you were to purchase a home and it was pre-built versus like if you had the opportunity and the chance to design it yourself and hire a builder and architect and all that and build a house of your own. I think whether or not it comes out good or bad or if there are any mistakes or mess ups in the process, I think no matter who you are, you appreciate it because of the work that you put in. I feel like if you buy a home at the same time, you appreciate it because the work that you put in just working to be able to afford that home, to be able to afford the down payment and the mortgage and all those things, right? I feel like it does go both ways, but I can't see the person that built their own home and designed it and everything. I feel like it's harder for them to part with it. There's a bit more of an attachment. And I feel that way with my own work sometimes. I find it hard after I've drawn something, even if it's not something as simple as a post-it note. I sometimes find it hard to pass it on or throw it away because it's something that I've created, and so there's inherently some sort of attachment behind it. That's something I feel like is important because it's something that any kind of process that you do, you can get some extra value out of it by doing it yourself. I guess that's the value in like DIY home projects as well as you can hire somebody to fix the home, but if you fix it yourself, all of a sudden it feels a little bit more like your home maybe. Trying to think of how to not necessarily personify these things, but just see where the culture comes in and how we're able to continue these things and share these ideas, It's important that we communicate and that as humans we continue to create and innovate and accept changes when they're coming, and sometimes, just like how this drawing feels at some points like it's at an equilibrium, sometimes you just gotta add some marks all across the page and see how it feels, see if it's any better, see if it's any worse, but no matter what, you gotta make a change. And maybe you need ads, and in this case maybe I need to add some more to make it feel right, or maybe this is it, I can call it done. A lot less time put into this drawing than the last, yet maybe the image is more clear and my point is perhaps a bit sharper and easier to understand with that one. With this drawing, I feel like I'm holding the pen in a quite extreme way. I've got this like underhanded grip and really trying to emphasize my arm movements rather than any of my hand movements. These sort of feel like windows. Windows to what, though? That's a question that I have to figure out as I go along here. I feel like I did a similar kind of design in the previous drawing, like a circle with little beans inside of it. Just describe kind of what that shape and pattern kind of is to me. It reminds me of beans, but like little people as well. This part I think confused me a little bit because I felt like I started making like a children's version of a tree, but then the marks just started forming themselves into this like abstract forest kind of a thing. I'm not sure if it works, but I liked it in the moment. Looking at it now, I feel like it's a bit disconnected, maybe like a dark line underneath them to pop them off of the page a little more would be helpful. I feel like with drawing, the most important thing is, or not with drawing, but with what I'm doing here, the most important thing is to give the impression that you're looking into another dimension, that this is deeper than just a page on just a piece of sketchbook, but rather this is a world that has been created and ready for you to explore if you're so willing to take a dive in. Thank you so much for hearing me out and joining me in this little sketchbook adventure. Not the longest video today, and I didn't even speed up the drawing because I don't know, it felt kind of speedy. And no matter what, the enjoyment is what matters. I hope you were able to enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. I've got a new video every Friday, so please subscribe if you're not already. And I hope you enjoy the weekend. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace.